Greetings, brothers, and welcome to another video. So this one will be a bit more calmer, a little bit more serious, and all that, right? And the reason behind it is, as you can tell probably from the thumbnail that I'll be creating, or I'm just planning as I'm recording this video. So this video will be more of a, well, audio I'm doing right now, but still, video, whatever. This will be more of a freestyle-ish, just me going on a ramble and all that. But if I wanted to add something into it, I'll fucking added it, because why not? So it is essentially the idea of Warhammer 40k fans leaving 40k. It is essentially that some people have the feeling they want to leave now. And, you know, partly it's because of Janovich saying this now. It's like, oh, you know, Alpha Booster was right, and, you know, farewell Warhammer, and all that. And some other people are considering to make a leave and all that. And another thing, like, for me at least, is more of that, now you noticed, now you got after like 5 wrenches hitting your head, now you wanted to consider leaving. In other words, it's like, you should have left earlier. You should have left at the time of the peak of the controversy back in 2021-ish and all that. Then again, most of the old Warhammer fans left and all that. You know, all the content creators, all the people who were making music and all that. You know, those people more or less just left. And that should have been an indicator that, you know, 40k was dropping. But there's still some people just, you know, naively just sat there and they were like, you know, it will get better at some point and all that. Or they have this mentality of, you know, we'll keep fighting against Games Workshop and one day it will be better. No, it won't. Like, again, it's just me being really desensitized when it comes to, like, companies like this, because I look at GW like Nintendo. You know, when you see other companies like Nintendo and Sony or other companies where when they find something to abuse their power, they will do it, because in the end, there are companies. They are not your friends. That's how I think of things, because essentially, you know, some people were shocked, like, oh, you know, oh, they sued 200 people outside of the IP and all that. I'm like, yeah, they can, and they will abuse it. Of course, the theory that I had interestingly behind the back of my head, I was like, okay, I'm more interested as to why behind it, because they've already flexed their power, you know, with the suing and all that back in 2020, and then doing it now again. And like, they've done it in easy mode. And my only theory as to why they're doing people outside of their IP, like Battletech and all that, and I have a theory. I think GW wants to test the waters of, you know, going against other companies. But that is a very different topic. I don't think I will mention it, but who knows? As I said, I'm freestyling as I going through this video or audio as I'm going through this. But yeah, and that is essentially the whole video. It's just me saying, like, my man, now you noticed? Like, how many wrenches did it take you to hit on your head to understand and realize that GW is going to do whatever the fuck it wants? That has been pretty evident from Warhammers for Everyone. They have literally slammed down, even after that post of fan animations, 3D artists. Like, even a guy called M&G that got sued and all that because he was doing 40k content for free as well. So, not only they've, like, hunt down 3D artists, 3D animations, and then literally sue anyone that has, like, certain 40k copyright material. They've done this in the early 2020s, that are being repeatedly doing this. And, like, as I said again, like, how many times does it take you to have this wrench on your head to be so dented to the point now you realize there's a problem? And it goes back, like, to the whole thing with the Femstoties and all that. It's like, what, now you noticed? Like, this is being a thing with fucking 40k, like, for a while now. And not as in, like, Femstoties existed, but it's just more of that GW has been influenced by culture war to the point that they want to do things that they want. And people who just sat there and just did nothing and just said, oh, what's the big deal? I don't see the problem and all that. And then they actually do it, and now they're shocked and they thought they can stop it. No, you can't. And those who did call out, they were being ignored. And it's as simple as that. And that's my whole thing about this, is just like, yeah, people are leaving for 40k for understandable reasons, but at the same time, it's just me just, you know, poking a little bit with the fork, and I'm like, oh, what, now you fucking noticed? You know, like, oh, you know, the people who have been telling you for like years ago, and you just ignoring that, now you fucking want to leave? In my opinion, okay, you should have done that earlier, and you would have had less damage on that. Well, at least mentally. Now, when it comes to me, Then again, for my reasoning is very different. It is more of that, you know, my reasoning is like, okay, I'll a little bit stray away a little bit from 40k, but not because, you know, GW bad and all that. Like, I can talk shit as long as I want to be honest, when it comes to like GW and 40k and all that. But it is essentially that I'm just bored. I'm just bored. I'm like, oh yes, I have my good feel with shit talking about 40k and, you know, what ruined 40k and all that, you know? And I've already given my position of things and all that. And some people, some go, and that is pretty understandable. And for me, I think I'll be moving in other topics as well. Hopefully soon enough. Then again, I've been trying that, like, even during when I was doing the 5-video upload consistently. Last couple of months. Like, I tried Helldivers. I don't think that gets much success, more or less, because I've come to the realization that most people want to roleplay into Helldivers than watching like lore videos and all that, even though there isn't much when it comes to Helldivers. But yeah, so I'm looking onto other projects that I'll try a little bit later on. I've been saying it in a Discord, but I'll mention it a little bit here. Project Morningstar is interesting. They were like the you know, 40k fan studio before they got like from GW and they made the Exodite animation, and now they made like their own. Then they just stray away from Warhammer and just made their own thing, which is pretty much Project Morningstar. That's fucking awesome. The other one, the one that I haven't dipped my toes in as of yet, there's another animation or a comic series more or less, is called Huxley. So those are the two things that I'm interested in it. Now, as to making videos about it, I am not too sure, to be honest. Project Morningstar is a more promising one because I've gone into their source book. It just seems interesting. But keep in mind, the video that might come out for Project Morningstar will be more or less, let's just say, more of a summary. And then afterwards, I will do more than that. But yeah, no, that's essentially it for this whole video that I think of on top of my head. And it's essentially that, you know, people are now leaving 40k when, in my opinion, they should have done it earlier, which they've done, which GW has blatantly showed their hand multiple times that they do not give a fuck. And then people just naively sat there and they're like, oh, GW's not that bad, or whatever other excuses is like, you know, oh, if we keep fighting against GW, you know, we will win and all that, which is usually the Genovich's approach, as far as I understand what he's coming from. And I'm just like, no, GW ain't like that. It doesn't work like that. And then, of course, there's more. But to condense it, it's just for me just to say, now you realized? Should have done that earlier. And then the other part is just me talking about, like, yeah, I'm probably just going to move a little bit away from 40k. If there's something interesting or worth talking about, I'll probably get back into it and be like, hey, yo, what up, fuckers? 40k shit, and then just leave. But yeah, I just want to mention, like, oh, these projects that are interesting. I know there's some people who might say, like, you know, what about Forever Winter that I did videos before, which to a certain extent it is quite successful in some of them. But at the same time, the only problem is with Forever Winter is they don't have that much lore. They just don't have that much lore. They don't have much story to talk about. So that is the only issue that I have with, is that if they added more lore stuff, I'll be more than happy to talk about it. But for the meantime, and essentially, I think it's more of the focus of the setting itself. You getting into the game, play the game, and then looking at these like new details and maybe some little chips of 40k stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. As I said, it's more of a freestyle, so I'm trying to stick with the two main points that I've been discussing in this video, more or less, and just to leave it as it is, and essentially telling you what is my next upcoming plans a little bit future forward, because I got some videos that are still 40k related, but at some point I'm going to be moving to something else, because obviously I can do 40k content as much as long as I want it to be. But at the same time, the reality of things when it comes to it is, okay, how long can I keep doing this? Because at some point there's a rise and there's always a fall. So I just like being, like, have a bit more variety or just a little bit more adaptable to things. Because some people, they really like their success so badly and so high, and they can't think of anything else other than that main success that they made them in the first place. So if you only did 40k content and you only got popular because of 40k content and you don't adapt to other things or things you want to share. And once 40k drops, you drop with it, and then at that point, you know, you just don't have anything else to do. But yeah, I'll just leave it here. So thank you so much for watching, guys. No advertisement, no nothing. It's just talk. Just me talking. Let talk moment. And I think I'll see you guys pretty much on the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, my brothers, and take care.